Zero people decided that they would like to have a free lesson that they didn't have to go anywhere and they could do anytime they want. So that's why we're teaching commitment. If you don't think it's valuable enough for yourself to do, then you shouldn't be here. Students are limited by their parents' commitment and attitude. And I've had so many parents, just music, here's 50 cents, go off in the corner. Well, that's not an attitude I appreciate. This is what I do for a living. It's all I do. I'm not wealthy by any means, but, I ride my motorcycle anytime I want to. We go on vacations. We have a nice house, and so forth. So, I don't really have a need to buy anything. I buy little things throughout the year, but I have guitars and, tools and things to do around the house, and everything's where I want it. And to be honest, I can, I was in banking and real estate and construction and appraising, and, I can size people up. I'm going to be 60 in a couple of years, so I've been around. Most of these people, they're slaves to themselves. They got a car payment they can't make. They don't have any savings. They don't go on vacation. So for them to tell me, music's just some little thing, well, maybe they need to take a good look in the mirror. But you see, I'm committed to what I do. So maybe that's why. Maybe that's the difference. But if you don't have the right attitude and you don't have the commitment, your students aren't. You get what you pay for. Our prices, if you were to line things up directly compared to what you get, are probably in the 75 to 80th percentile. We're not below average. We're not average. We're not the highest. And that's how I want it to stay, because I want us to think that we are charging near the top, so we want to give as much value as we can. And I want the students and parents to realize that it has value, and that if it doesn't have value for them, they shouldn't be here. So you get what you pay for. Now, I'm not saying, if you can't afford I think we charge $115 a month, an average, for a half-hour private once a week. If you can't afford that, you can only afford $50. Take a class, somebody that comes to your house. I'm not saying don't do that. What I'm saying is, if you're looking for some of the best education you can get, don't think you're going to get that paying somebody half the price. Because for the first thing I have to ask is, my instructors are normal people and they like to get paid normally, and so do I. We don't like to rip anybody off. But if you feel so little about the value you're giving that you're saying, oh yeah, I'll do it for half price, that's what kind of message is that sending to your student, that you should do things that devalue yourself. So you get what you pay for. People want flash over substance. They like going and seeing black paint everywhere and, spotlights and all this thing. And you see a rock star, tapping, less than 0.0001% of the people will ever need to play that. And if you need to play that, we can teach that. But there's so much more to music. And that's such a small part of it. I've had people, they need to do their due diligence. They should not call me up until they've looked at my website, my socials, talk to people that have been in here. Do your due diligence and get to know the people before you just try it out. Because what you'll do is frustrate yourself and your student at a bad place. Just because they give good music lessons doesn't mean they know what they're doing. I've been in business here about 10 years. And I know of one person in the area who's been there too, and there's been many come and go, and they're huge. Some of them are huge people coming and going. And a lot of instructors, they work around. I try to get ones that only work here, but, sometimes these people work several places or already have students. And, one of the first things an instructor might ask me is, who do I accept as a student? And I'm very careful to tell them, well, I only want committed students. I only want students that want to be here. And I only want parents that say to themselves, out of all the places I've went, I want to go there. There's no question about it. Because I don't want to take your money. And I know instructors have told me, other places say, well, do what you got to do to keep this kid, and whatever new ones come in, do what you got to do. We don't do that. So do your due diligence. And I've been doing this a long time, and I'm not saying I'm the best, but I have a system that works, that's very fair and ethical, and it's built on sound business and creative reasoning, okay? So, that's not somebody you'd want to go up and start telling them how to run their business. I try to explain as best I can at the time, but I can't always sit down and go over a 2-hour explanation on the same question over and over when I've kind of answered it already for you. Or it's a rule. And, it is what it is at some point. A rule is a rule. And the reasoning is, if we give you the reason and then you don't agree with it, well, that's too bad. We can't help that. You need to go and search yourself and say, can I be a part of this place with this, or is it too much of a sticking in my craw? If it is, don't do it. Go to someplace else. I don't want anyone here that doesn't want to be here. I'll help you go somewhere else. People will ask me, well, can you recommend people? Well, no. I don't know who they are. I don't know the owner. I don't know the instructors. I don't know how they do their business. I don't know all those things. I can't recommend you people. I can recommend you what to look for, and then you got to make your own decision. I know what I do. I've been here a long time, and this is all I do, and I want to do it. So I don't want anyone here that is upset or doesn't like the way I do business. And if I find that, I actually will find them away. Because who would do that? If you have a hardware store and somebody comes in and all they do is gripe and moan and tell you you're stupid and your hardware is no good and you don't know how to run your business, that person's not happy. You're not helping them at all. You're a codependent for their bad behavior. You need to find them another hardware store and show them how to go find it on their own. So that's kind of what we do. It's not a big deal. It's very few, but it does happen. And the thing people don't understand about 1-2 bad apples, the rest of that is it ruins the whole barrel. So you can't just say, oh, well, we just got a couple bad apples. No, the whole barrel's gone. You got to throw the whole thing out. And you got to get rid of those bad apples. You can't have them. So that's no excuse. Oh, yeah, it's just a couple bad apples. No. Yes, my whole organization is suspect and I need to get rid of it. So if I have a couple bad apples as instructors, I get rid of them. That's all. And it's not a harsh thing. I don't begrudge them, but they're better off somewhere else. You also have parents telling me what works. Well, you don't know what works. What works is what we have. Or tell the instructors how to teach. Sometimes something makes such common sense that you can't understand it. One of the problems is parents want us to relay that information so that later they can help. That's the worst thing we can do. Because first of all, now the authority isn't vested in us, it's invested in the parent. So the child's like, oh, well, I don't know, who do I listen to? Secondly, even if the parent knows music, they don't know their child as a student, and they don't know how we're teaching them. They don't know exactly. It's like a substitute teacher. You don't come in and change everything. You don't say, okay, take all those instruments off that wall, put these chairs over there, for a day. Okay, you play trumpet, you sing, you play trombone, you give that trombone to him. No. You come in, you maintain what's there for that day. If you can impart any knowledge, you do. You don't contradict the teacher, and you hit the road. If you think something's awful, you talk to the teacher later, but you don't do that to the students. That's ridiculous. And the same way, then the instructor gives stuff to the parent. The parent tries to teach the kid, teaches them wrong. We need to be there. We need to teach. So I reinforce to my instructors that if the person asks, say, yeah, they're doing great. And then if they want to know, we do a little quarterly review to show them what we've worked on, what we're still working on, and what we're going to work on next, and what's in their toolbox. I want all my kids to have a toolbox of songs or things they can play. So that's why we go over and over things a lot. And we go back and do that. And people will say, oh, well, I don't care about the theory. Well, no, you do care. That's why we're here to teach that part. Oh, well, I don't want them to do piano. Well, no, they have to do piano a little bit. That's part of music. Well, no, I don't want them to do that. No, they have to do that. No, they don't have to do it all the time. And a lot of kids, for some reason, they don't like classical music. Well, that's music. So they have to learn some of it. And usually they'll moan and groan about a piece, but then I'll let them do something they want to do. And then later they'll bring me a classical piece they want to try. So you see, we do what we do. We're not perfect, but we definitely understand the journey and how to get you there. If you think we have it wrong, if you think my makeup policy isn't right, if you think the way I do tuition isn't right, if you think the way we teach isn't right, if you think the way we want them to do in a group isn't right, therefore, there must be others out there that do these things you think should be done or don't do the things we do. Therefore, you should be at that place. So think about that. If you're going in and telling somebody, well, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that, shouldn't do this, you should do this. Well, no, go find the business that does those things you think they should do and doesn't do the things you don't think they should do, and go to that business. And that should be a no-brainer. There should be all out there, because why? Because if I'm not doing it the right way and I'm doing the wrong things and I'm not doing the right things, other people will want to go and do the right things and not do the things we're doing wrong. And there'll be other instructors out there and other places. So go there. That's kind of my whole thing. And I would much rather somebody be happy somewhere and they'll learn so much more. You can't have your cake and eat it too, if you've ever heard that. What that means is you can't have a cake sitting there perfect and looking great for 3 weeks and eat it. Because if you eat it, it's gone. And if you don't eat it, it sits there. What do you think that means? That means if you don't do the things we recommend and that we teach, you're not going to get the goodness out of it. You can't have it both. You can't not do the things we tell you and then be a good performer and good musician. And that goes with parents too. If you don't go to recitals, if you don't support some recitals, if you don't, if it's like, this is on, I want to watch TV, I got to go to that thing, I got to put my shirt. Well, sure you do. I did it. I went to things I didn't want to go to. I had a big smile on my face. I said, nope, this is what I want to do. I even had somebody said, well, you don't have to go. And I looked at them and said, yeah, I know I don't have to go, but I'm choosing to go because it's part of my duty. It's my duty as a parent, or maybe it was my duty as an instructor. I would go to my kids' things. Sometimes I go to my students when they would get an award for math or something. I would show up and they go, oh, well, who are you here with? And I'm like, well, I'm here for you. And I'm here for, Sue and Johnny and those other students and people that go to my school. They're like, well, what are you doing? I'm like, well, I'm here to support you because I want to support you and let you know how proud I am that you're doing this. So that's how parents should be. That's how siblings should be. You don't have to like it. The student doesn't have to like it. They don't have to say, well, I'm going to do this the rest of my life. Sometimes the kids want to come in and take a few years of piano or guitar. Great. But, we teach people how to learn. And if you have a negative attitude towards something you're spending a lot of money and time on, that doesn't make sense. If you're just going to a place and putting in your time to get out of there, to get something out of it, that's the definition of prison. So don't make a prison for yourself. So, and the other thing is, if you'll do these things, and they're just things you do. Most of us have a trouble making decisions and choosing what to do, but these are laid out for you and you just do them. You don't have to think about it, just do. Don't think, do. You can be a dreamer, but you need to do. Dreamer and doer. Someone that dreams and then does. So do these things, practice, come to the recitals, come to any of our gatherings, go online and connect with us. And you will see the results, and you might really like something. I never liked opera as a kid. It was very weird. I just didn't like it. And later I went back to get my finish a degree. I was a vocal major, and of course all you sing is classical music, and I love singing operatic arias. And I love going to opera. You see, I got to know it a little better. I understood it. I saw the cool things, the good things, and wow, it was awesome to me. So that's why do the things we ask and you'll reap the benefits. if parents and students think music is worthless and doesn't have any value, you're exactly right. If you think music is an important part of everybody's life and has value, just as valuable as everything else, because you see people like Josh Groban, people paying $60, $100, $200 to go drive at a terrible time, drive miles, go to a cramped seat and sit in it with 20,000 other people and listen to him sing for 2 hours, wrapped in attention. If you think music has value and is worth that, you're right as well. It's like Henry Ford was quoted as saying, if you believe you can or you believe you can't, you're right. And that's how it is. So, and sometimes as parents and supportive people and friends, we don't have to lie, but we don't have to show our distaste at something. You don't go to someone's house who's a very important part of your life and put some potatoes in your mouth, and because they put too much salt in it, just spew it all over them and jump up and down and say, oh, that's awful, and just throw your plate against the wall. No, you go in, you take it, you might not eat it, and everybody's like, well, how do you like it? How do you like it? You can say, oh, I love mashed potatoes. Thank you. That's not a lie. Now, you didn't quite answer the question, but you do love mashed potatoes. And then later, you can say, I loved your mashed potatoes, but I just want to let you know they seem really salty. I don't know if something happened. And you don't even have to do that. But what I'm saying is support your people in your life and support them with music. That's how a student can be engaged and develop commitment. And let me tell you something. The kids that come in here that are successful, I know they're going to be successful at everything and anything, and they are. We've had students go on to teach music, to teach dance, to be teachers teaching English and math at elementary school, going and be nurses, going on and be engineers, and they're at the top of their game, and they're at the top of their musical game when they're here, and I can tell it. And a lot of it is because we taught them some things they didn't learn in school. Because in school, think about it, you have new instructors every year. In music, typically they're going to have the same instructor 4 or 5 years, and it's the only time a child has a one-on-one with an adult. And it's a different, there is that still that era of being the mentor, but it's not even like being tutored by your math teacher and you're a student. It's a different relationship. It's a very, still has authority, but it's much different. That's what music's all about. I can put a professional in with a professional 50-year-old, an 80-year-old who plays recreation, a 20-year-old who took lessons when they were younger, a couple of teenagers and 8 and 9-year-olds, and a little 3-year-old that just knows 2 notes on the keyboard. And we can play a pop song and play a classical song and play all kinds of stuff. And it works out fantastic. That's the beauty of music. So I'm looking forward to this next year, not because this one was so bad, even though it was, because I always look forward to new stuff. And I think there's just some exciting things out there. There's some exciting things to learn. Come on out and get you some lessons. Don't be upset if you have to be put on a wait list. Go to find the place you want to be at, and if they'll put you on a wait list, do it. Because it's worth it to go to a place you like. Otherwise, you might get turned off. And don't buy a good guitar or piano. Don't try to waste. You're going to waste money getting cheap. Pay $100, $150 for a guitar from a reputable place. Get an electronic keyboard. Get one that's a couple $100 or $300. And if you have a piano, have it tuned, and pay the few $100s to do that. Have strings replaced or whatever. And be committed and do that. And there are some good online stuff. If you want to know, give me message me or email me, Tony@theunderwoodschool.com, or through this blog or through this vlog, message me. I have a online guitar lesson modules coming out that will, a couple weeks, you'll see it everywhere. So if you're interested in that, shoot me an email. I'm going to do a webinar and tell people about it. It's a 12 module course, take you about 12 weeks, 8 to 16, depending on how much you can get. I take you through everything. And we got some other nice things coming up. So get a good place. Don't be worried about waiting a little bit. Be patient. And if you have a place, do what they say. Try it for a year. If it doesn't work out, then do something else. But, let them teach, give them some opportunity, because if it's done right, it's something that stays with you forever. And regardless of what a lot of people say, they just don't know what they're talking about. Music is a fantastic career. It's a money-making career, and I'll stop everybody in their tracks. I don't know of any doctor that earns more than Beyonce. I don't know any architect that earns more than Drake. I don't know any attorney. There are probably some big hedge fund attorneys that earn more, than somebody like, Billy Joel or somebody like that. And it's not just them, it's all the backup dancers and singers and musicians and road people and attorneys and doctors and lawyers that all accountants and managers, and the homes they buy, people have to look after them, and on and on and on. So a lot of people in the industry, in the business, music companies and Spotify and streaming services and sync services and all this, people who were musicians at one point or are still musicians but don't do it full time, and you can travel and you can sell and record your own stuff, and on and on and on. I know there's, Uncle John who plays drums, who's just a freak and he never makes any money. Well, he's just, that's just who he is. A lot of doctors are unemployed. Bet you don't know that. A lot of nurses are unemployed. Why do you think they have, they're given huge bonuses now for nurses? A lot of nurses are quitting, so they're not making anything. A lot of landscapers don't have jobs. A lot of any profession. But let me tell you, you can teaching music, because the teaching to student ratio is like just, it's 1 to 4. So it's a very small amount. So there is money there. And, beyond that, no matter what you do, you have to be a business person. So maybe you want to retire in 10 years. That's not a problem. I mean, I've had teenagers that teach and make good money while they're in high school or in college. And they go on and do their other things, and then they come back because they made such good money that they love teaching. But there's other things. So we can talk about all that. I'm looking forward to this year. I think music is just going to take off. And if you want to get interested in music, if you're interested in being a part, don't wait. Just do it. Go out and just go do it. Do your due diligence. Take a class. Take some lessons. Get a guitar. Record some stuff. If you don't know how to do it, I have some podcasts that talk about it, or message me. So this is Tony Underwood, the Music Man, signing off. Last one for 2020. We'll see you next year. Have a great New Year's and a safe one. Bye-bye.